My skate name is Faith No More.
Annihilator.
Max Speed.
Cause.
Jamie Dodger.
Wince.
Counterfeit.
Best Skills.
Fudge.
Marco Rolo.
I got into roller derby through one of my friends. He was a bit nervous to go on his own, so he invited me, so I decided to go with him. And then, yeah, I've been playing since then.
So I got into roller derby by my mum. She played roller derby before I was born, so she kind of brought me into it, and I started skating with a local skating club.
So that's quite funny. I got into roller derby because my mum saw a Facebook post. My mum had came into my room one night and went, "Oh Molly, I know you haven't skated in a while, but do you want to go and try this out?" At first I was reluctant, but I thought, why not go in the end?
Well, my mum, she used to do roller derby when she was, it was a while ago. But yeah, she used to do derby, and my sister wanted to start and I wanted to start. So my mum started her own junior team for me and my sister, and it gradually got more people involved from Eastbourne, Hastings, all around the south.
I'm American and skating's a very big cultural thing, so it's a pretty common thing to just pop your kids on skates. But both my parents played roller derby when I was really young, and I was at training anyway, you might as well bung me down the end.
It started off watching the film Whip It, which I feel like if you've not seen it and you play roller derby, you're doing something wrong. And my mum was like, "Why don't you try that, Max?" And at first, I was a bit like, nah, because it looked brutal on Whip It. And then I tried it with Found Newcastle Juniors, and then, yeah, led to the next 7 years.
4, 5, 10, maybe 4 years.
So I've been skating 11 years.
It'll be 6 years now.
I think I've been playing roller derby for 10 years, and I've been on skates since I could basically walk.
So I got involved in junior roller derby probably 5 or 6 years ago. My 2 children were playing roller hockey because that was the only kind of sport that you could do on roller skates around here. I played roller derby, or just started playing roller derby, and I decided actually I was going to start a junior league. And that was kind of the start of it. Sort of 5 years later, I had a number of children within the club that could potentially try out for the team. So I went along and I volunteered my services at the same time. And then, as with everything in derby, I'm involved in doing everything now.
What drew me to roller derby? I turned 40, and this is 11 years ago, and decided I wanted to rediscover skating, from my teenage years and having a huge break. And someone came up to me at a roller disco and said, "Have you considered roller derby?" And I'd never heard of it. So I took that plunge, and then my daughter, when she turned 11, she wanted to join the local junior team, which are the Bombinos in Lincoln. And since then, I've played, she's played, and it's just roller derby's taken over our whole lives. And she, Lady Macbeth, was in the 2018 World Cup team, and now she plays for the Borderland Bandits and the Hellfire Harlots. And yeah, roller derby's still the main thing in her life.
It was actually my wife Beverly got into roller derby first, and Eve was watching Beverly play when she was age 10. She had to wait until she was 11 before she could actually start training with the Bombinos, the Lincolnshire Bombers. So she spent a year learning her trade, watching her mum train, and I started training to be a referee around the same time. So that's my first exposure to derby over a decade ago.
I've been playing roller derby now for 8 years, I think. I've lost count. And being part of Team GB is a very big privilege because I got picked for it. I've been trying to push my skating on as many people as I possibly can because I got into it and I just want everyone to enjoy it just as much as I do.
Oscar's been skating since he was 7, now just turned 14, so a good few years, much better than me. Yeah, where's all?
I was really happy when I got into the Team GB team because it's such a great opportunity to play for your country, and I was so happy about that.
I was really happy about it. You go to try out to get on the team, but it was like a big responsibility knowing that that's something I've now got to commit to and, give my all into something that I've worked so hard to get to.
It felt great because we just had a tournament before, which was 5 Nations, and I did not realise how many junior skaters were part of junior derby, so I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, especially with my performance there. But no, so it felt really nice being chosen again.
A bit surprised, I can't lie. I was in the middle of eating dinner and I just got the email out of the blue, so I was kind of happy at the same time.
I felt pretty good because in 2018 I got picked, but I was a reserve. So like it was like, yeah. And then 2020, obviously, everyone got picked again, and then COVID. But this time, I think, yeah, it means a lot because we actually get to skate now, and it's gonna be fun. Third time's the charm.
I don't remember the exact moment. I really like skating, and this is just a chance to do skating at a much higher level with more people who are really good at it. It's just a chance to learn and to do good, fun things.
When Oscar got the information he'd been selected for GB, he was shocked, really shocked actually, because I think he knew he'd skated hard, but he thought there were better people than him. So actually my husband was jumping around more than he was, but yeah, a little bit taken aback, but really, really pleased.
It was an amazing feeling because being chosen for Team GB, I didn't expect to get it because there's so many people out there with knowledge and experience who've been in the sport for a long time and they're willing to give everything that they have. I was exactly the same. I just didn't think I was the type of person that would fit the role right, but it seems to be going well and people feel, I've had positive feedback on how I've given information across and how to teach. It's nice, it's a great feeling.
You've got like all my homely skaters and skaters around the country. Just it feels nice for people rooting for you, and it's nice to represent.
So biggest challenge being part of Team GB, I think, is although I've got my own teenagers, is dealing with teenage emotions. You know, I've played derby for a reasonably long time and understand how people react at certain times. Teenagers react slightly differently, and it's a bit odd sometimes how they react when you think you're having a good game and you've got one crying in the corner. It's quite difficult to get used to that. So yeah, it's that sort of getting used to that side of it and getting the level right. You know how you talk to adults, but actually it's trying to be serious with the kids, but also keep it a sense of fun. That's a real quite difficult balance to keep going. From a roller derby junior league, it's just getting the name out there. Most people don't understand what roller derby is, unfortunately. It's a very niche sport. Some people have seen the film Whip It and think that people are going around punching each other and you put glass on your knuckles and stuff like that, and it's trying to explain to parents, well actually no, and I don't let them hit each other for a good 6 months. So it's trying to get parents and people like that to understand what junior roller derby is and keep them entertained. You know, kids have a lot of different pools in their life, so you're fighting against horse riding, football, you know, it's lots of other sports, and it's trying to keep the kids interested in that. Luckily, most of the kids that come along already know what roller derby is, so, you know, and are quite, for want of a better phrase, quite niche, so that they may have a different gender or something like that, so they already have a real interest in the sport and that alternative side of it. So that's the real value for me and what I like about that sport.
Oh, the most difficult thing about working with such a large number of young people that are split into the two teams is, for me, is remembering all the names. A lot of them I already know because they were in the previous teams and they haven't yet aged out. But I think probably the main thing is the fundraising, because in the past we were fundraising for 20, 21 players. This year we're fundraising for 40 players, and when you go to potential sponsors and say we need to buy 20 uniforms that are going to cost almost £2,500, they, you know, take a big gulp and say, I would really like to help you, but that's a bit too much. But we're really, really pleased that Maitreya have helped sponsor the uniforms, and I think they would be playing in scrim tops without that sponsorship. So yeah, we're really, really pleased with that.
The people that, you know, are raising money and donating whatever they can, it's, you know, it's honourable to know that they want us to get to this point, and you know, we're all really grateful that they're giving up things that they've worked so hard to get in order so we can do something that we really love doing.
It means so much that people are donating to help get to Team GB, because it's so nice that all these people are wanting for us to go to the World Cup and they're doing so much to help us. It's very, very nice.
It means loads. Roller derby is not a sport you can earn money in. And a lot of us who play get our equipment from friends, and we get it through recycled groups. So the fact that somebody is willing to help this not very big sport, this sport that we can't possibly be professional at, and just say, you're having fun, you should get to do that more and at a higher level, is really cool.
I think it's quite cool and helpful, to be honest.
It means a lot because like most people of our age can't afford to just go to France for like a week to play. And it means a lot that people are actually like caring and donating to like support us as a like team.
The donation idea to get the kids to the World Cup is really important to me because basically, if I could myself, I'd fund what I could. Now, I'm happy to give time, money. It's what you do. It's because it's such a small sport. You do try to give everything you can to it. And if people are able to just give a little bit, it means a lot to a lot of people. With any type of situation, like to help them out when they can't do it, is a big opportunity.
Community support and funding for this team is everything really, because it's quite a new world for lots of people in terms of sport funding, and I think the kids seeing people invested in it and being interested in it and feeling like it's something to support gives them that confidence, I think, to think this is important and people think it's important and cool. We need it. Everybody needs the help, and it's a real community spirit, so hopefully we can get the help we need.
I think what I would say is no matter how little you can afford to support the team, be it £1, £2, something along those lines, whatever you can spare, it all helps to get them to France and compete.
The biggest thing that it means for the skaters, with them being able to provide that funding, is that the skaters will have that for the rest of their lives. They'll probably frame those Team GB shirts. I know it's happened, from the previous team, and they can always say that they represented their country. They swapped shirts with, some of the other teams. Yeah, and it's a really big thing for them. As soon as they put on those shirts, it's like they become superheroes. And thinking back to the 2018 World Cup, there was not a dry eye in the house. As soon as they saw the team lined up there in their official uniforms, it was amazing.
For us, obviously asking for donations, and we really value those people that are giving us those donations. It's just helping those kids that, some of kids are fortunate and able to fund some of it, but there are some of the kids on this team that are not quite so fortunate, and it's just giving it that level playing field, so that everyone can partake, and there's no one got that feeling that just because they may have a less fortunate background, that they're not going to get that same experience. So for me, it's just making sure that everyone gets that same experience, and that's what those donations will hopefully give us.
It's never too late to donate, even after the World Cup or during it, because this team will carry on. Those that don't age out, they'll still be Team GB up until the next World Cup comes around, and we still want them to carry on playing internationally, which means that they still need help with, the equipment. They need help with the uniforms, protective gear, gum shields, helmets, you name it. They get worn out really quickly. And travel. I mean, for the parents in a cost of living crisis, it's just ridiculous how expensive it is. So I think if there's any sponsors out there that can continue to donate and to help us get these young people to games, they'll just love you for it.
I most enjoy the team aspect of it, and everyone is so friendly. When we're on track and off track, it's such a nice place to go.
To be captain on Team GB means a lot because I've tried so hard to push myself to be a better skater than I was, and I always try to push myself to the best that I can be, and I know I'm not even close to finishing pushing myself, but it means a lot to get to this milestone, but it's fun.
I'm not very good with people, but I'm an absolute rules nerd, so I'm really happy that despite my not very good with people, I was chosen because they think I can add something, and I think Jamie and I will make a good team of rules nerd and sociable human who's good with that.
I think one of the main responsibilities of captain is representing your team in a state where they don't feel there's fair play. You have to stand up for them and know that what you're saying is true and trying to get the refs to make the right decision.
I'm most excited to meet different people from the different countries and play with them and see how they play.
I mean, it's my first time going on a plane, so that's quite exciting, but also being captain is a big part of it, so that's probably what I'm looking forward to most about it.
I feel like talking, like socialising to the other teams, because roller derby is just, it's a very social sport. Like, there's a lot of sportsmanship. It's not like there's no hatred on track, there's no hatred off track. Everyone's so nice to each other, and it's quite fun, just talking to people.
To see the different styles of play for the countries, I think, because every country has a very distinct style of play. The American game can vary between a very fast game and a very slow game, which I think is neat. And I've never really had the opportunity to see New Zealand derby or Danish derby. I think it'll be interesting.
I think I'm most looking forward to it being a bigger World Cup. There are more countries involved. We've got an OTA team and a WFTDA aligned team, which we didn't have before, and it's just opening up all those opportunities for those young people that they might not have had before, and they can then take all the skills that they've learned, you know, and the drills that they've learned and the connections they've made, and take it back to their own teams, you know, and then become, you know, the next adult stars of roller derby. I think that's the main thing.
I think for me, supporting young children the way I do, it's for me as a parent as well. It's knowing that I put the most amount of effort into it, and that what I'm doing with those kids is giving them something that they won't get elsewhere. So, you know, these kids got to go to Calais recently to play France. It didn't go as well as we wanted. However, that's a massive experience for them to go over to another country and play. You know, we sang the national anthem. I'm not patriotic, but actually it was quite tearful listening to a group of kids sing that song, and watch the French as well do that. So it's just bringing something different, and for me putting my effort into that so that they've got that experience and that opportunity. I think it's just the experience. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what to expect. I've never done a World Cup or anything like that as part of my skating career. Yeah, I've skated abroad, but never at this level. And I'm just looking forward to that experience, meeting, you know, teams from around the world and meeting other derby players and people, and just having a unique experience that I probably may never get again. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm excited that it's a new challenge for all of them. I think it's just going to a different country, being with completely new skaters, seeing how everybody skates and making new friends. And I think just seeing the fact that he's progressing this way as quickly as he is, it's just a real maturity thing for him that he's really, really proud of, and I'm proud of him.
I will definitely cry for the first time when the national anthem's played and the flags start waving, and it's all, yeah, it sounds very traditional, but I think that's at that point where you think, this is real. Those young people that you get to know really well are representing Great Britain, and it just all seems a bit bonkers.
Watching the progression of skaters from where they've just come into skating to where they're hitting GB level, because I've been assisting with counterfeit with junior roller derby for parts of it, and basically we've seen a few skaters just progress massively. Like, they've got older, they've got a lot stronger for it, but it's the passion that they've got for the game. You can really see it come out, and it does make you think, Jesus, I helped with that. It's quite nice.
The junior roller derby, I think what it does give them is the ability to socialise and compete at a high level, a very high level, in a sport that demands a whole range of skills which you can't bottle, but the networking element of it, and it's not just about them doing it now, it's them taking it forwards into adult life and the relationships that they will garnish from that. It's just, yeah, it's really quite something else. The whole sport, it's, yeah.
It's hard to put it into words, because obviously you see them grow up and be little people, and he's really matured as a young man quite early on. We're also foster carers as a family as well, so that's really helped him understand people's differences, and I think being part of this team has really helped him understand that everyone's different, but they all have similar traits and they enjoy the similar things. He's turning into an amazing young man, and also his skating skill has really come on. With the coaches here and with the other kids playing, he's just gone to another level with his skating, and I'm really jealous.
I think the progression going back to 2018 is clear to see, and this is the first training session that I've attended. However, I've quite literally been blown away by the level of the teenagers that are training today, and I think I can see them doing really well. It's really been quite impressive to watch, just amazing, and just a blur half the time, which is, so yeah, I can see them doing very well.
Keep doing what you're doing. You make me proud every day. I love watching you skate. I love watching you be friends with people and smiling and laughing. And I love talking to you about it afterwards. There's so much to talk about. It's amazing. Brilliant.